Somewhere inside you, there's a life that you haven't lived yet. Not a life that was taken from you, not a life that passed you by, a life that is waiting, quietly, patiently, the way water waits beneath the ground unseen, but always there. You feel it sometimes, don't you? In the early hours of the morning, before the world wakes up and starts asking things of you, there's a moment, just a moment, where something stirs. Something that knows you better than your name does. Something older than your story. Something that has been watching and waiting and wondering when you'll come back to it. That something is what we're going to sit with today. We live in a world that is very good at noise. Not just the noise you hear with your ears, the traffic, the notifications, the endless stream of voices telling you what to want, what to fear, what to be. I mean the noise inside. The constant hum of thinking. The low-grade worry that never fully sleeps. The part of you that is always calculating, always measuring, always wondering if you're enough. We were not built for this pace. The human heart was not designed to carry this much input, this much comparison, this much pressure to perform a version of yourself that the world finds acceptable. And so something happens, slowly. And slowly, you almost don't notice. You begin to drift. And not dramatically, not all at once, but the way a boat drifts from shore when no one is holding the rope. You wake up one morning and you realize you're living a life that is slightly off. Not wrong, not broken, just off. Like a painting that's almost straight. Like a song played in the right key, but at the wrong tempo. You're showing up. You're doing what needs to be done. You're present in all the ways the world can measure. But somewhere deep underneath all of that, something in you is very, very tired. And not the tiredness that sleep fixes. The kind that lives in a place that sleep can't reach. I want to talk about something that most people never say out loud. The weight. Every one of us is carrying something. Some of us carry old grief that was never given a proper place to rest. Some of us carry the voices of people who told us early and often that we were too much, or not enough, or both at the same time. Some of us carry versions of ourselves we've been trying to outrun for years. And we get good at carrying it. Remarkably good. We learn to walk straight under the weight. We learn to smile while we carry it. We learn to say, I'm fine. And we say this with such conviction sometimes that we almost believe it ourselves. But the body knows. The body keeps a very honest record. It knows every time you swallowed something instead of saying it. It knows every night you lay awake with thoughts you didn't know what to do with. It knows every time you push through when what you needed was a stop. And at some point, the body asks you a question, And not with words, but with exhaustion, with tension, with that low, persistent ache that lives just behind the chest, asking you, when are you coming home? Here is something I've come to believe. The answers you're looking for are not outside you. I know that sounds like something you've heard before. I know it sounds simple, too simple. But stay with me. Because there is a difference between knowing something and actually living inside that truth. Most of us know somewhere that we hold the answers, but we go looking for them anyway. In other people's opinions, in achievement, in the next thing, and the next. We treat our own inner life like an empty room, somewhere to pass through, not somewhere to stay. But that room is not empty. That room is full. Full of things you haven't let yourself feel yet. Full of wisdom you've accumulated, but never stopped to listen to. Full of a version of you that is steadier and quieter and more certain than the one you show the world. That version of you has always been there. It was there when you were a child, before anyone told you who to be. It was there in your most honest moments, the ones you don't talk about, the ones where you saw something clearly about yourself, about your life, and then quickly looked away. That version of you never left. It just got quiet. Because the world got loud. I want to invite you to do something. Not later, but right now. I want to invite you to slow down. Not physically, although that too, but inside. There's a speed at which we process life, a pace of inner movement that most of us have set far too fast. We think and then we react. We feel something, and before it has even fully formed, we've already decided what it means, what to do with it, whether to keep it or throw it away. What if we didn't? What if you just let something be there without fixing it, without explaining it, without turning it into a story about who you are? Just let it exist the way clouds exist, the way morning light exists, present, honest, asking nothing of you except that you notice it. And that noticing is the beginning of everything. There is a voice inside you, not the loud one, not the one that argues and calculates and worries. There is another voice, a still one, a small one. It doesn't shout. It has never needed to. It speaks in the pause between thoughts, in the moment just before sleep, when the guard comes down and something true surfaces. It speaks in the thing you almost said before you thought better of it, in the choice you almost made before fear stepped in. That voice is the most honest thing about you. It doesn't perform. It doesn't try to be impressive. It doesn't care what anyone thinks. It only speaks what is true. And most of us spend most of our lives learning to ignore it. Not because we're dishonest, not because we're broken, but because that voice asks things of us that are difficult. It asks us to stop pretending, to stop shrinking, to stop building our lives around what we think we're allowed to want. I want to ask you something gently. When did you stop? When did you stop allowing yourself to feel things fully? When did you start managing your emotions instead of living them? When did wonder become work? When did possibility start feeling like pressure? When did the future start looking like a problem to solve instead of a place worth going? I'm not asking these things to make you feel bad. I'm asking them because somewhere in the answer is a door. A door back to a version of your life that has more breath in it, more space, more view. We stop living fully for reasons that make complete sense. Life asks a great deal. People need things from us. Responsibility is real. Paying attention to survival is real. But at some point, and I think you know the moment, at some point surviving became the whole plan. And you deserve more than a plan built entirely around survival. You were made for more than endurance. There's something in you that knows that. I think that's part of why you're here. Listening. There's something that stillness knows that movement never will. When you stop, truly stop, something begins. Not something dramatic, not a revelation that shakes the room, something quieter than that. You begin to hear yourself, your actual self, not the one shaped by expectation, not the one built for other people's comfort, the original one, the one that has a way of seeing things that is entirely your own, the one that has a sense of humor that comes from something deep, the one that loves what it loves without needing a reason. That person has been in there the whole time, waiting, not impatiently, not with frustration, just waiting. The way a candle waits in a dark room, ready, present, sure of itself. Stillness is the match. You don't have to go searching for who you are. You just have to get quiet enough. I want to talk about healing for a moment. Not the kind with a program, not the kind with steps. The kind that happens quietly. The kind that happens when you finally look at the thing you've been not looking at. When you stop fighting the memory. When you stop pretending the wound isn't there. When you sit down beside your own pain, the way you would sit down beside a friend, not to fix it, not to explain it away, but just to say, I see you. I know you're there. You don't have to keep knocking. Something releases when you do that. Something that has been holding on very tightly begins to let go. Not all at once, slowly. The way a fist unclenches after holding on for so long, it forgot it was clenching. That is healing. Not the absence of pain, but the willingness to be present with it. Long enough, honestly enough, until it softens, until it becomes something you carry differently, not a weight. I want to say something directly. You have permission to slow down, to change, to want something different than what you've been reaching for. You have permission to outgrow what used to fit. You have permission to feel lost sometimes without making that mean you are broken. You have permission to not have the answers yet. You have permission to be in the middle of the story and not know how it ends. Most of us are waiting for someone to tell us it's okay, to rest, to reimagine, to lay down something that was never really ours to carry. So consider this that permission. From one human being to another, you are allowed to come back to yourself. You are allowed to make that the priority. Not eventually, not when things calm down. Now, in the ordinary middle of your ordinary life. Coming back to yourself doesn't always look like a traumatic transformation. It doesn't always look like a retreat or a revelation or a moment of lightning clarity where everything rearranges itself. Sometimes it looks like a breath. One slow, intentional breath. In a moment when you would normally rush. Sometimes it looks like 5 minutes of silence in a life that is otherwise always full. Sometimes it looks like saying no to something that was draining you so that you have something left for something that feeds you. Sometimes it looks like asking a question you've been avoiding. What do I really want? What does my life feel like from the inside? If no one is watching, if no one is grading me, if I was only accountable to myself, what would I do differently? These are the small questions. They take about 5 minutes to ask, and they will change everything if you let them. Not because the questions are magic, but because asking them means you are finally paying attention to the one voice that has always been telling the truth. I want you to understand something. Everything you've been through, every loss, every disappointment, every version of yourself you've had to leave behind to keep moving, none of it broke you. It may have bent you at times, maybe push you down almost to the ground, but you are here. Here. That is not nothing. That is everything. The fact that you are still here, still searching, still asking the deeper questions, still open enough to sit down with something like this, that is proof of something remarkable, of resilience that doesn't announce itself, a quiet, unbroken thread running through every chapter of your life. That thread is you, the real you. Not the version shaped by circumstance, not the version built for survival. The one underneath all of that. The one that has been watching and waiting and keeping the door open. Even when you forgot. I don't know what your life looks like from the outside. I don't know what you've been through, what you're carrying right now, what keeps you up at night or wakes you up too early in the morning. But I know this. The life still ahead of you has more in it than you currently believe. Not because the world is going to suddenly become easier. Not because the hard things will all of a sudden disappear. But because you are different than you were. You have learned things that you cannot unlearn. You have survived things that have made you more capable than you know. You have inside you right now everything you need to live more honestly, more fully, more like yourself than you ever have. The only thing required is to stop waiting. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting until things settle. Stop waiting for the version of yourself that has it all figured out. That version is not coming. You don't need it. The version of yourself that is here right now, listening, breathing, still reaching, that version is enough. Take a breath now. A slow one. Let your body settle. Let your mind rest. You don't have to solve anything today. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to know the next step. All you have to do is carry what you've heard today a little more gently. Carry yourself a little more gently. There is a life inside your life that is waiting to be lived. It isn't far from here. It isn't locked away. It is as close as the next moment you choose to be truly present. As close as the next time you are honest with yourself about what you actually feel. As close as the next time you choose stillness over noise, depth over surface, truth over performance. You know the way. You have always known the way. Go gently. Go honestly.